Joe Mucheru has, over the years, found himself at the center of several high-profile controversies involving media freedom, national digital programs, political neutrality, and personal legal battles. These incidents, particularly during his tenure as Kenya's Cabinet Secretary for Information, Communication and Technology, ICT, frequently placed him under intense public and political scrutiny. One of the most widely discussed controversies occurred in January 2018 when four major Kenyan television stations were abruptly shut down during the symbolic swearing-in of opposition leader Raila Odinga. The stations affected included Royal Media Services Citizen TV, Standard Group's KTN News, Nation Media Group's NTV, and Enoro TV. The shutdown triggered fierce criticism from journalists, civil rights groups, and opposition politicians who accused the government of censorship and suppressing press freedom. When later summoned before a Senate committee to explain the decision, Mucheru declined to provide detailed reasons, citing national security concerns, which further fueled criticism from media watchdogs. Another major controversy revolved around the government's Huduma Namba digital identity program, which aimed to create a unified national identification system for Kenyan citizens. As the government official overseeing ICT and digital infrastructure, Mucheru became the public face of the initiative. However, the project quickly ran into legal and constitutional challenges. In 2021, Kenya's High Court ruled that the rollout of the Huduma card system was unlawful because the government had failed to conduct a mandatory data protection impact assessment before collecting citizens' personal data. Civil liberties organizations also raised alarm about the types of information the program sought to gather, including biometric data, DNA details, and arguing that these measures posed significant threats to privacy without strong legal safeguards. Mucheru also faced political accusations during the 2022 Kenyan general election. Leaders allied with the Kenya Kwanza Alliance claimed that he had compromised the neutrality expected of a government official by publicly supporting the Azimio la Umoja coalition. Critics allege that, as ICT cabinet secretary, he had the technical capacity to influence the electronic transmission of election results. Mucheru strongly rejected these accusations, describing them as diversionary utterances intended to create unnecessary political tension. Beyond politics and governance, his personal life also entered the public spotlight through a contentious divorce case. His wife, Ida Wambui, filed for divorce in June 2015, shortly before his appointment to the cabinet by former Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta. In her petition, Wambui accused him of cruelty and neglecting his marital responsibilities. She also sought a monthly maintenance allowance of Kenya shillings 300,000, turning the case into a widely discussed issue in Kenyan media. Further legal controversy arose in late 2022 when a lobby group attempted to have Mucheru jailed for contempt of court. The group alleged that he had ignored court orders preventing the appointment of a new chief executive officer of the ICT authority, while a legal dispute regarding the position was still pending. Another contentious policy debate emerged around the ICT Practitioners Bill, legislation that proposed requiring ICT professionals in Kenya to possess formal degrees and licenses before practicing in the field. The bill faced significant backlash from the Kenyan technology community, which argued that it would stifle innovation and exclude many talented self-taught programmers and entrepreneurs. Under intense criticism, Mucheru later distanced himself from the proposal, describing it as a surprise of the political season. Despite these controversies, Mucheru's professional career spans more than 25 years and reflects a trajectory that includes entrepreneurship, corporate leadership, public service, and international technology development. Joseph Joe Wakaba Mucheru was born on August 28, 1968, in Kenya. He spent much of his early childhood in the Kiambu countryside, particularly in the town of Limuru. Growing up in what he later described as a rustic environment, Mucheru attended a rural primary school before eventually moving into more nationally and internationally recognized academic institutions. Although the specific names of his parents have rarely been publicly disclosed, Mucheru has often credited them with instilling in him the values of hard work, discipline, and honesty during his formative years. He was one of 6 siblings in the family. His mother, Grace Wamuyu Mucheru, passed away in March 2024, and her memorial service was attended by several prominent public figures, including former President Uhuru Kenyatta. Mucheru began his formal education at Nairobi Primary School, where he studied between 1977 and 1982. He later joined Lenana School from 1983 to 1988, completing both his O-level and A-level studies there. During his time at Lenana School, he was not only academically active, but also deeply involved in sports. He captained the school's hockey team and was eventually recognized as Sportsman of the Year, a distinction that highlighted his leadership and athletic ability. After completing secondary school, Mucheru moved to the United Kingdom to pursue higher education. He enrolled at City University London, now known as City University of London, where he completed a Bachelor of Science degree in Economics and Computer Science in 1993. His academic training in both technology and economics would later become a defining foundation for his career in digital innovation and business. Years later, in 2008, he further enhanced his leadership and management skills by completing the Stanford Executive Program at the Stanford Graduate School of Business in the United States, an advanced executive education program designed for senior business leaders. Mucheru's professional career began in the late 1990s when he joined Internet Solutions, then known as Interconnect Limited, where he worked as a webmaster and technical manager between 1997 and 1999. This early role placed him at the forefront of the rapidly developing internet industry in Africa. In 1999, he co-founded Wananchi Online, one of the pioneering internet service providers in Kenya, and the parent company of the Zuku brand. Within the company, he served in multiple leadership positions, including Chief Executive Officer, Chief Technology Officer, and Strategy Director. His work at Wananchi Online helped expand broadband internet services in East Africa during a period when digital connectivity was still in its early stages across the region. His success in the technology sector eventually led him to one of the world's largest tech companies. In 2007, Mucheru joined Google, becoming the company's first employee in sub-Saharan Africa. Over the next 8 years, he held several influential roles, including Google Kenya Country Manager and Sub-Saharan Africa Ambassador, while also serving as the company's regional lead on energy access initiatives. In 2015, Mucheru transitioned from the private sector to government service when he was appointed Cabinet Secretary for ICT, Innovation, and Youth Affairs by President Uhuru Kenyatta. During his 7-year tenure, from 2015 to 2022, he oversaw numerous digital transformation initiatives aimed at modernizing Kenya's technology infrastructure. Among the programs launched during his time in office was the Ajira Digital Program, a government initiative designed to help young Kenyans access online work opportunities in the global digital economy. He also supervised the continued development of Kanza Technopolis, a major flagship project under Kenya's Vision 2030 development plan, aimed at creating a regional technology hub. Another key legislative milestone during his tenure was the passage of the Data Protection Act of 2019, which established legal guidelines for how personal data should be collected, processed, and protected in Kenya. Beyond Kenya's borders, Mucheru also served as chairman of the African Telecommunications Union from 2018 to 2022, helping coordinate telecommunications policy across the continent under the umbrella of the African Union. After leaving government in 2022, Mucheru returned to the private technology sector. In January 2023, he was appointed president of Jumo, a global financial technology company headquartered in London that provides mobile-based financial services across Africa and Asia. The company has processed more than $5 billion in loans through its digital platforms. Throughout his career, Mucheru has also served on numerous boards and advisory panels. These include positions as a global board member for UNICEF Generation Unlimited, an advisory board member for the M-Pesa Foundation Academy, a board director for Give Directly, and former chairman of the Telecommunications Service Providers Association of Kenya, TESPOC. In his personal life, Mucheru married Ida Wambui in 2005 under Kikuyu traditional law. During earlier interviews while working at Google, he often referred to his family life with affection, mentioning his wife and their two children, whom he nicknamed RNB, short for Ruby and Baraka. Financially, Mucheru has long been regarded as one of Kenya's wealthiest public officials. When he appeared before Parliament for vetting in 2015, he declared a net worth of approximately Kenya shillings 500 million. He also disclosed an additional Kenya shillings 267 million in deferred income from business ventures that had not yet matured at the time. His wealth was largely tied to real estate investments and equity stakes in technology companies, including Wananchi Online and other digital enterprises. To avoid conflicts of interest after his cabinet appointment, Mucheru pledged to divest from several private investments, including holdings in BTC Africa Limited and Wananchi Online Limited. His property portfolio includes substantial land holdings and developed real estate, as well as a two-story residential mansion described as a mid-century modern ranch home situated on a landscaped property. Some of his business investments have also produced significant returns. For example, he previously held a minority stake in BitPisa, a digital remittance company later rebranded as Easy Finance. In 2018, he sold his shares to avoid conflicts of interest while serving in government, reportedly earning 10 times his original investment from the sale. Mucheru has also been involved in several legal matters relating to property ownership. In 2015, he filed a claim for ownership of 3.15 hectares of land in Londiani through adverse possession, a legal mechanism that allows individuals to claim land after occupying it continuously for a specified period. Later, in 2022, he was also involved in a commercial property dispute concerning land identified as Nairobi Block 72, where he filed a case alleging encroachment on an adjacent plot. From a young boy raised in the rural landscapes of Kiambu to a technology entrepreneur, government minister, and global fintech executive, Joe Mucheru's life has been shaped by a combination of innovation, public service, controversy, and influence within Africa's rapidly evolving digital economy.